From the BakedSalmon studios in downtown Bakersfield, this is Bakeline. Here's Stoned Phillip. Good evening, and welcome to Bakeline. From the distant past of the 2019s, through channel takedowns and mental breakdowns, horrific doxings, and noticeable channel growth, the staff here at Bakeline has been on shaky ground as of late. But our fearless leader, Mr. Salmon, has assured us that all is well, and our checks should clear. We just need to not cash them until Tuesday. Growing unrest aside, there has been a bit of sad news this week. For the details, relaxing in our gray room, here's Baked Salmon. Thank you, Stoned Phillip. Good evening. I'm Baked Salmon. Tonight, it is with a heavy heart that the Baked Salmon Network bids farewell to a worthy opponent. Vincent Nicotra has allegedly been let go from the Have a Seat with Chris Hansen staff.
I'm going to start with some breaking news. Some of you may have heard, because I put it out on social media, Twitter, etc. today, that I have fired my web producer, Vincent Nicotra. He had been saying and doing things that had become a sideshow to this very important investigation into Onision.
There were so many childish images left to post.
La, 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 la.
Hey, come here, quick! What is it? I dug up this hose and followed it, and look what I found! So that's where the sludge came from.
90,001, 90,002.
Oh, this blight on the community must be shut down immediately. I'm going to call the police and the mayor and the TV station.
Hey, what's going on in there? Hank, what did you do?
It's not my fault, Dad. The machines are busted.
Busted? After all I paid for this hunk of junk, where's the warranty?
There is just never enough time. It's important to cherish every moment. We hadn't even gotten to the IMDb credits. Wait a sec, did you guys make a short film? Why didn't I hear about this? Wow, who stars in it? Oh my. There are a lot of folks concerned about you, Vince, since learning that you've been let go. But the really shocking thing is that some folks think you still haven't been let go. Oh, hang on. I'm getting word that we have a satellite link to Australia. Mr. Suit, is that you?
Good evening, Fishface. How you doing? Thanks for having me, cunt.
Sir, I am so glad you dropped by. I'm trying to get my head wrapped around some things. You don't pull any punches, so what do you have to say about the news that Vincent is gone?
Chris has said, hey, look, Vincent, I know you're a good guy, but I can't have you associated with me in public.
So it would seem. Let me ask you this. Has Chris adequately addressed the issues surrounding Vince's dismissal?
Has Chris Hansen adequately addressed the issues surrounding Vince's dismissal? Are you kidding me? What? Have you got the brain of a fish or something? No, he hasn't adequately addressed these issues. You've got his behaviour when he's working with the victims. You've got him doxing people that he doesn't agree with. You've got people that have signed up for the Hansen website only to be doxed by Vince. You've got fucking the laptop, the cell phone. I mean, that's meant to have gone to the FBI. Obviously hasn't, because he put his trust in Vince. No, he hasn't adequately addressed those issues.
That's what I was feeling too, but I feel a little biased on account of having my channel nuked twice. What, if anything, do you think Hansen needs to address to the public to get back on track?
I really don't know what Chris can do to address the public in order to get back on track. I mean, he could start by saying he fucked up, and he is aware that YouTube is different to the journalism that he used to do. He can address the issues of him being broke and needing money, and he can assure us that though he needs money, he is not doing this for the money. But Chris won't do that.
Wow, that is a pretty good point. I have mentioned that Hansen is in massive debt, but many folks dismiss it as irrelevant. It does my head in. Suit, I appreciate the call. I'm actually in the middle of recording a new Bakeline. Perhaps I can get just one final thought. Do you think that the anti-Onision community is better off with Hansen's help?
Is the anti-Onision community better off with Hansen's help, or does it remain to be seen? Well, see, here's the thing. The victims came forward because of Hansen's reputation. They put their trust in Hansen. He's already failed them. He's failed Sarah. The FBI hasn't got the computer. I mean, does that mean that there's no FBI investigation going? Does he have any sway whatsoever, knowing his past and what he's done since Dateline fired him? It seems no one wants to work with him. He seems like a hack. So it's good that the victims came forward, but that information needs to be delivered to the police. Probably would have been better for the victims to go to the police. Why do we need a weekly update of what Hansen's doing? I mean, for 2 months now, we've expected an FBI investigation to be going on, and that doesn't seem to be the case. So what do we got? We've got an accused predator lawyer now on the scene. And, I mean, he's already let it slip that he wants to know if Onision is worth milking.
They've gotten mad at you for using certain words, and they won't pay you for certain. I mean, so
they won't pay you for certain.
If we could prove that they have money worth going after.
That they have money worth going after.
Will they be able to pay? So that's something that you have to think
And
about.
this is a case where clearly Greg Jackson has made a substantial amount of money, but we don't know precisely how much. We don't know where that is, if he retained any of it. If you watch his YouTube videos, his streams, would argue that he's on the run, destitute, and a victim of a mass conspiracy.
You know,
Will they be able to pay? So that's something that you have to think about. And this is a case where clearly Greg Jackson has made a substantial amount of money, but we don't know precisely how much. We don't know where that is, if he retained any of it.
Of course, in any civil case, the defendant, this case, Greg Jackson and Kai, have to be collectible. That means that they have to have money to pay the damages. So, you know, that's always a consideration. How much time, energy are you going to spend on a case? And if you get a big judgment, a verdict, will they be able to pay?
Greg Jackson and Kai have to be collectible. That means that they have to have money to pay the damages. So, you know, that's always a consideration. How much time, energy are you going to spend on a case? And if you get a big judgment, a verdict, will they be able to pay?
It looks like they're just looking for the money. And why would you want a predator lawyer, accused predator lawyer, working with you? And why would any of the victims want this predator lawyer, accused predator lawyer, to represent them? Why would they need him if there's an FBI investigation going on, which we know there's not? Otherwise we would have seen something or heard something by now, other than a laptop and cell phone that hasn't been delivered. So they've already fucked up the case. But besides the anti-Onision community, you've also got the pro-Hansen community to deal with, because in their eyes, Chris Hansen cannot misstep. Every step he takes is one of glory, and, you know, he's playing 4D chess. They just can't see the mistakes Chris has made. I say hand this over to the coppers. Let the authorities deal with it. And, Hansen, delete your channel.
Suit yourself, everyone. A link to his channel is in the description. He has a very no-nonsense approach to his content. I have only recently been introduced to Suit, and let me say, dude has a killer Discord. Now, where were we? Oh, hold on. Oh my goodness. Look who it is. Thank you for checking in, dear.
Hi, BakedSalmon. Thank you for having me on your channel. I'm honored to be here.
My pleasure entirely. Boy, this is a day to be remembered here at the Bakeline Studios. Man, oh man. Queen, I know you're busy, and I don't want to be taking a ton of your time. I reached out to you because I have a few questions that I'm hoping you can answer. I suppose, first off, what do you have to say about the news that Vincent is gone?
Well, I think that it's definitely a step in the right direction. It's a much better look for Chris Hansen's reputation as well as the entire investigation. Because the truth is, his presence with the level of unprofessionalism that he was displaying, especially publicly, his presence just made a lot of people lose confidence in the work that Chris Hansen was doing, just trying to get justice for these victims. I think that Vincent was more of a distraction than anything else on the show. Not necessarily his actions while the show was going on, but more so after the show. Just the way he conducted himself online was very unprofessional and definitely unacceptable for someone who's handling a case like this.
Well put. Would you say that Chris has adequately addressed the issues surrounding Vince's dismissal?
I personally don't think that Chris Hansen adequately addressed the issue, because for all we know, the only thing he actually talked about was Sarah's laptop, which is the most important in my opinion. However, there are other very important things as well, such as the doxing of people. I was thinking that Chris Hansen would take the opportunity to take a stand against something like that, to say, no, here on Have a Seat with Chris Hansen, we don't stand for something like that, and actually offer an apology to those people who were doxxed. It felt to me like they were glossing over the fact that they actually doxed people and they were just focusing on other things. It's like they were trying to sweep it under the carpet and act like it never happened, but it did. And those people who were doxxed, they are real people with real lives, and they deserve to be treated better.
Right. How about the stuff with the laptop and...
In terms of the way he addressed the laptop and the cell phone, I feel like he did address the problem in terms of what happened with Vincent lying about the location of the laptop. However, what he didn't address, in my opinion, is what happens after now. So we know the laptop has gone back to Sarah. So what's the plan? Is Sarah just going to hold on to it until we hear back from the FBI? How is he going to get to the FBI? That's the area that I don't think that he actually addressed.
That makes a lot of sense. While I've got you here, is there anything more you think Chris should talk about but hasn't?
I personally think that he needs to address the issue of Mike Morse. That's kind of like the biggest one. I was watching his last live stream and a lot of people were asking questions. There are people asking with super chats, there are people asking with normal chats. And I just feel like it's the big elephant in the room that needs to be addressed. And for some reason, he's choosing not to address it publicly. Now, I've heard a couple of people say that now might not be a good time for him to address it because he has a lawsuit that's actually on him currently. And I can understand that. However, in my opinion, I don't think that it stops him from addressing the issue, because if he's still keeping Mike Morse on the team, that means that he has a reason for doing that. It would be nice to share that reason with the public, because a lot of people have concerns. Now, I personally don't think that someone who has the same accusations against them should be on a team handling a case with the same accusations, but that's just my opinion.
And that is what people watch you for, my dear. Your opinion. One final thing, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but tell me, is the anti-Onision community better off with Hansen's help?
I personally believe that Chris Hansen brings a lot to the table when it comes to the Onision investigation. In terms of awareness, he's been like the loudest voice that we've had so far. So in my opinion, yes. I personally believe that the anti-Onision community is a lot better with Chris Hansen on board than before he came on board. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people were speaking out against Onision before he came on the scene, and people continue to do so even after he came on the scene. However, I can't take away his contributions. I can't take away the platform that he's created for so many victims to come out and share their story. Before now, we've had a victim or two come on the channels of just a few YouTubers, but this is the first time. Chris Hansen is the first person who has come on board and has brought everyone who has a story to tell about Onision, or at least to the best of our knowledge. They are all coming out on one platform and having a bigger voice to say this is is our story, and we will not be silenced until justice is served. So I believe that he has contributed immensely, and he will continue to contribute immensely to this entire Onision investigation. Beyond the aspect of the FBI being involved, Hansen using his platform to share the stories of these victims is making sure that the message reaches even more people and is grabbing the attention of even more people, so at least people will be warned while we wait for the legal process to run its course. So yes, I strongly believe that the community is better off with him in it.
Wow. You're very nice to listen to. I think the community is better off with you in it.
Thank you. I actually loved being here and just sharing my thoughts with you guys.
Drama and opinions, everybody. That was amazing. I wonder if we can go for 3. Anyone else waiting in the wings? Nobody? Huh. I forgot to check the answering machine. I didn't look when I got in. Anyways, we'll have to check that at the end of this episode. That's it for this episode.
Wait, what?
From all of us at Bakeline, good night.
Thursday, 1 p.m.
Yeah, I'm aware of the things Chris Hansen has done in the past, but I believe him alone has made so much awareness towards what's been going on. Whether he gets the justice, I don't know, but I guess we have to see. But I definitely believe he's raised so much awareness, there's more conversation.
Thursday, 2:09 p.m.
Hi, this is the content creator known as Comfort Doll on Twitter and on YouTube. In answer to the question, is the anti-O community better off with Hansen's help? It depends. If he continues as he has been going, I think he's just going to drag it into oblivion. But if he brings in better associates like law enforcement, psychiatric experts and such, then he may be able to bring new life to the investigation. Otherwise, I think he's just going to drag it to the ground. I'm grateful that he has his name has been able to put it out to other media, but at this point, people are starting to think of the investigation as more of a joke because of his associations with Mike Morse and Vincent Nicotra. So it just depends on how he goes from this point on. If he has some legitimate support, I can see it going well. If he just keeps doing the same thing over and over and scraping the bottom of the barrel, then I can see it becoming a joke and no one's going to take it seriously. Thank you for for giving me the opportunity to voice my opinion. Take care.
Thursday, 5:58 p.m.
Is the anti-Onision community better off with Hansen's help? Well, that's a bit of a tricky question, with Hansen's involvement being a catch-22, especially in recent weeks. Hansen being involved has no doubt opened up a floodgate of exposure. No one can deny that. I've not seen anyone try to deny that. But it does seem like Hansen's previous antics from the TCAP community have started to move into the anti-O community. Hansen has been put up on some pedestal and people are now praising him for apparently getting all of these things done, but they weren't done by him. And people are also now questioning his morality and legality with some of the things he has done, such as showing up to Onision's house for an interview while his child was there. There have also been other issues with deleted super chats, Mike Morse being involved, everything and anything to do with Vince, and just recently a laptop not being handed into the FBI. So it's possible that both Chris and Vince lied about that and FBI involvement. I've even seen in recent weeks someone question the status of their merch that they bought a few months ago that they'd never received. So when you really bring this into play, it makes you question what the bigger picture is supposed to be, especially after Hansen was shunned from his own community. And I really do believe the community needed the boost, but I do think they would be better off without him, because with the way it's going, it's just seeming like a repeat of Ice Poseidon, and it's just going to end in nothing but disappointment.
Friday, 1
6:24 p.m.
What's up? So I just want to say I definitely think it was a bad decision to include Chris Hansen in the anti-Onision movement. At first I thought it was a good idea, but this was before I really had looked into Chris Hansen's latest history. I only knew him from the beginning of To Catch a Predator. I didn't really know about the downfall of that show or him being fired or even him being arrested. But to me it seems like Chris Hansen's trying to revive his career on YouTube by using Onision. And I just don't really like that. I think it's a bad decision. I think Chris Hansen being involved with Michael Moore, or Morse, or whatever the lawyer's name is kind of sketchy because he also had lawsuits against him regarding sexual allegations. But ultimately, I think Chris Hansen lacks journalistic integrity, and it's pretty obvious that he's been borderline harassing Onision, and that's why, like, in court, Jack, whatever his fucking name is, Onision, is saying he's going to go through another route to sue Chris Hansen. I think it's going to be harassment. If you look at, or possibly, yeah, I'm not sure, but if you look at Chris Hansen's YouTube page, literally every video right now is dedicated to Onision, and then he went to Onision's house after he said that he was not interested in an interview. That's kind of like, I don't know, it's just sketchy. Like, I don't think it's right. I know people will try to justify it and say it's legal, but I don't think it's right. Just like when Chris Hansen and the other people who were chasing predators went to the associate attorney general, whatever. I'm not really familiar with the story, but the guy that killed himself, who was involved with the Chris Hansen investigation. Like, it reminds me of that because the guy wasn't engaging with Chris Hansen and then they still go to his house. Anyways, I'm stoned as fuck. I've been drinking all day, so I hope you enjoyed your voice message. Bye.
Friday, 2:09 p.m.
Hey, this is No Thanks, and yeah, I was going to answer the question about if the anti-Onision community is better off with Chris Hansen's help, and honestly, yes and no. So I think it's important that we realize that there have already been police cases and reports open on Onision for a while. And the whole point of Chris Hansen is that finally we'd get the FBI involved, and there's really no evidence or proof of that. So, but if he is actually getting involved, and there actually is cases that are open now thanks to him, then yeah, sure. But the only problem is that he's going about it in a very strange way. His lawyer is messed up, and has several sexual assault cases open on him. And you don't want somebody like that working on, well, a sexual predator situation. It just sort of seems ironic. Alright, that's all. Bye.
End of messages.